Duran Premium Cigars, one of the fastest-growing boutique cigar companies, provides smokers a portal into the old Cuban tradition of the perfect balance and the lost art of progressive flavor construction. Roberto Pelayo Duran began his career in tobacco over 2 decades ago in Havana, where his reputation grew within Cuban circles. The creation of Duran Premium Cigars has given Roberto the platform to introduce a series of cigars that offer the quality and construction that he perfected while in Cuba. Brands include the ultra-premium Roberto P. Duran signature line, Azan, Nea, and Baracoa. Duran uses a seed to humidor approach, as all of their tobacco is grown in their farms and rolled in their factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. Rollers have been carefully chosen to carry out Roberto's precise method to ensure progressive flavor in each cigar. Duran Premium Cigars invites you to make their premium your standard.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geeks show. We are here with Joe Hollywood and JennyLin talking about some cigars that we've been smoking. I'm trying to figure out what the Monte Cristo one. It was a Monte Cristo white, but it had like all the extra bands on it and stuff, and I can't find what it is, and I can't find my picture of it. Do you guys know what that one is? It's not the 80th anniversary, is it?
For the white label?
Yep. It's very similar to a white label, but it's not. Hold on. It has that extra packaging. We reviewed it on the show. Oh, no, so it is the white label, just with the new vintage Connecticut. Monte Cristo's White Series Vintage Connecticut. It has the extra band in the middle that has like the picture of the tobacco fields and the farms on it. I don't know if you can see it. It's on my screen. Have you smoked this one before? See how it has
the green. I actually know someone gave that to me and I saved it. I haven't smoked it yet.
That actually came in a tube when it first came out.
Yeah.
Glass tube.
It was like a
like it's, I don't know.
What, a frosted glass tube? Was like it wasn't
I thought it was
transparent.
I think it was transparent.
Okay, yes.
Is this different from the regular White Series?
I haven't smoked it.
Yeah.
I have it.
I had that. Someone gave me that, and me, 45 seconds later, just now. Hold on.
That's awesome, though.
I'm so bad like that.
I think that's good because I just sit on it and I never get to have it.
No,
so.
I'm so bad. Like someone
That's good.
say,
It's rare. Then you smoke it, then you know, and then I sit there. I'm like, I don't know. I'm sitting on it.
yeah. It's actually it's mild. Did you remember
Yes,
it being
it's very
mild?
mild. I was recommending it to folks who hadn't eaten and aren't regular cigar smokers. I'm like, you want one of those?
Yes. See, it
seemed a little like it had a little more body than a regular White Series. I don't know if that was just me, but it did seem. I remember the White Series without that other band on it was like really mild and light. This one had a little more flavor and body to it, so I liked it. I mean, I would give it a 5 for sure. Also, I was in a Monte Cristo lounge, so I wanted to smoke Monte Cristo. As much as I think the White Series is not really where it's at in terms of Connecticut today, there's so many other ones that EP Carrillo, we've talked about a lot on the show before, but makes some of the awesome, certainly Connecticut shade.
Yeah, they do a great job, actually.
Okay, so what else?
They have a great price point, EPC.
Yes.
Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, the EP, yeah.
They do. It's great.
Yeah, I've been into the Dusk. You ever have the Dusk? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been into that series.
Nice.
Especially towards the end. I've given that some pretty high reviews. But if you go 42 minutes, the Cro-Magnon Knuckle Dragger.
I love a Knuckle Dragger.
By Roma Craft. And the reason why I say 42 minutes is because I showed up into town. I was at your lounge.
I knew it because I was like, we're heavy in Roma.
Yeah, and I only had like 42 minutes. I'm like, all right. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a Robusto and and whatnot. I was on a time crunch, and let me tell you something. Never had it because I would probably gravitate towards a bigger smoke, but since I was just totally in that time crunch there, flavor bomb. Complete, I lit it up and I was like, I was expecting it to be good. It's by Roma Craft. It's, they seem to have popped a couple years ago.
I know, right?
Totally impressed. Absolutely. Yeah. So I had the Cro-Magnon Knuckle Dragger. The size was 4x52. It's called a Petite Robusto. Wrapper is Connecticut Broadleaf Maduro. Binder Cameroon. Filler is Nicaraguan. It's rated a full cigar. Absolutely, positively, it is a full cigar, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
But no pepper. No spice like that. Just full, heavy on the palate.
It's just heavy on the palate for a little petite cigar. You get a lot of smoke on your palate.
Yeah.
You know, like if you like I said, if you want a full cigar and you're ever on a time crunch, like, you know, that is the cigar for you for sure. Like you said, it was
super good.
It's super good. The wrapper runs a little oily, so I did have to touch it up a little bit, but a lot of that the size. You know, this being the
Maybe
size
you were
there.
smoking too fast, buddy.
No, actually, it was one of those things. I was on a time crunch and I was typing and preparing for my next meeting. So I wasn't really paying attention to it, but I was like, damn, this thing's freaking tasty. And I never, you know, it was a cigar that I had on the fly. So that being said, I want to try it and give it its due diligence again. But right off the bat, total box split for sure. Good. You know, great price point as well. You know, so definitely. That was the Cro-Magnon Knuckle Dragger by Roma Craft. Do you have one?
Yeah, I have had these before. I was just looking up all the different sizes because I haven't smoked them in a while. Mm-hmm. This particular Cro-Magnon series, which I do like a lot, actually. The Anthropology size is really good. That's their Grand Corona, 5 3/4 by 46. That's the one that I really like. And it's Connecticut broadleaf. Did you say this? Binder, Cameroon, filler, Nicaraguan.
Yep.
Nice.
Absolutely. And like I said, they kind of popped in 2016, you know, over at the IPCPR. And they were rated one of the top boutiques to watch.
Really?
With Roma Craft.
Yeah, Roma Craft's been doing a great job. I mean, you know, Skip's got a lot of nice lines. He's been on the show quite a few times in the past, and he does awesome stuff. So,
I agree.
I was at the whatchamacallit lounge in Vegas. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? No, the other one. I was at
Casa Fuente.
Thank you, Casa Fuente. Wow, where did my brain go?
It's that type of day, right?
It's Bombay. It's been Bombayed.
Bombay dried up, right?
With a little lime.
I had
type of day.
I don't think this was the cigar in the bottle, but this was a Maduro, like a Toro-sized OpusX Maduro. The OpusX Maduro wrapper that they use has this like dark cherry sweetness. It's like a chocolate-covered cherry is what the flavor reminds me of.
Really?
It's very unique. I don't get it from any other cigar or wrapper. It's just awesome. I mean, the cigar's probably like $75 or whatever. But I mean, you're in Vegas. You know, you got to splurge. You know,
corporate card,
make some money on the slots or something like that. So it was really. I mean, it was fight Chuck Norris for sure because not only is it well balanced, but it has that subtle black cherry sweetness that I've described in this OpusX Maduro wrapper. If you can get a hold of these, and you're an OpusX fan or not, really, this is one to try because of that flavor profile. It's like smoking a chocolate-covered cherry. It's awesome.
Really?
Awesome. Yeah.
I've never had it.
Yeah.
It sounds delicious.
Really good. It's delicious. It's one of those things that when you visit Casa Fuente, I encourage people to get something like this to experience it, and you will not be disappointed. Joe Hollywood, back to you.
Well, since I bought the little Roma Craft,
I wanted to go with the big one.
When in Rome, right?
When in Rome, Roma.
I had the Intemperance wrapper, Ecuadorian.
Little lighter.
Yep. Wrapper, Ecuadorian, Connecticut, binder, Indonesia. Filler is Dominican and Nicaraguan. Comes in a bunch of different sizes. I had the Faith, which is a short perfecto, and then it comes in 5 other sizes there. It was ranked medium. I thought it was a very tasty medium, and for my palate, I would say it's kind of like a Bailey medium smoke there. But what I liked about it is when I started doing some research at the bottom, they leave little spaces so you can see the actual wrapper, binder, and filler. You obviously sell Roma Craft in your store.
No, I don't know what you're talking. Oh, yeah,
So-
I'm only kidding.
So take us through that. Like, have you noticed that, or do people just?
Nobody notices.
No-
And if you tell them,
How
it's
can
just
they-
like a
how can
nub.
they
How
not
it's like
notice
the
that?
cubular style of rolling, like so that the nub will stay like that. Nobody knows. And if you tell them, they don't know. They think it's cool.
It's just an exposed foot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So
all it is.
They leave the wrapper off the last, like, I don't know, like half an inch or so.
Yeah. I call it a shaggy foot.
Yeah, shaggy foot tends to be like really
Yeah.
shaggy. I tend to term this as more of like an exposed foot, right?
Yeah.
Because if you ever
Yeah, 'cause it
seen
doesn't have it, yeah.
some shaggy foots, like they're
Yeah,
like
they're
really. Yeah. But what I like about this is you get to taste the binder and filler independent of the wrapper,
Right.
And you should, if you pay close attention, notice when the wrapper starts to kick in and see how those melt together. That's the theory, anyhow. I like it. I think it's really cool to either you can go the other way, which is kind of more of a shaggy foot or a closed foot. Sometimes they call it, right, where the wrapper comes over the end.
That's
So when you
close,
first light it, you're just getting wrapper.
Yeah.
And then you get to taste it with the binder and filler. So it's kind of like these little tricks that cigar manufacturers play. The Intemperance is one that carries that. Now, did you have the Brazilian wrapper or the Ecuadorian Connecticut?
Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian,
Connecticut. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. They're both really. There's really no Roma Craft that I don't like to smoke. To be honest with you, like they're
know, they
all
do really good.
at least a fiver in my opinion. Like every single one that I've smoked, and I've worked my way through quite a bit of the line. Yeah, it's really good.
Plus, it's like from a marketing perspective, when they do like the wrap on top of the wrap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they're kind of staying close to their craft.
Yeah.
No
They're
pun intended.
boutiquey,
Yeah,
for
they're
sure.
very boutique-y. But I kind of like that when you can just smoke the binder and filler first, and then because I think in most cigars, especially on the new boutiques, that first half of an inch anyway takes some time for it to get going
Build.
and whatnot. You got to build it up. So it's actually a nice touch. But so none of your customers never noticed that. That's the first thing I noticed.
If
'cause-
you tell them, they'll find it, but then you don't. It depends. I want my customer. I don't want to always just tell them. I want them to tell me, So if they find it, I have a few customers that smoke all the time, so they're really into it. So they'll taste the differences and they'll be like, "Oh, did you taste that?" Which is awesome. But then if I tell people, they're automatically gonna, because it's like inference. Like I'm totally telling them what they're gonna taste, what they're gonna taste it.
Right.
But sometimes no, I didn't taste that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. I gave it a box split for sure. It's definitely a good smoke.
Nice. I don't know if I have anything. I smoked some weird Puerto Rican cigar that was not very good. My friend went to Puerto Rico and came back with very inexpensive 3-pack of cigars. I believe they were long filler because I was kind of questioning whether it was going to be long or short filler. It was long filler. It tasted like in that Connecticut, like little grass and hay kind of thing, kind of inexpensive cigar. I need to do some more research. I do have a couple of other ones to smoke. This one had a yellow band. It had 965 on the band. It says Puerto Rico on it. It was a Toro-sized cigar. It wasn't really that great, but it was a try one for sure. But it's interesting to try, different cigars from different countries. And my friend did say that this was his least favorite out of the three. He's like, yeah, that one kind of wasn't that great. But I tried it, and it was a try one.
Yeah, you got to try it. I had a Costa Rican cigar. Somebody went to Costa Rica or somewhere and brought me back, and it was actually kind of blah, but it was kind of cool. And I didn't want to smoke it, of course. I want to put it in my stash.
Yeah.
But he gave
just
me a few.
Oh, look, I have.
Yeah.
People bring back cigars like that really you haven't heard of. They're not sold here. And I find it's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah. It's
Usually
typically
miss. Usually miss.
Yeah. Agreed.
I smoked some Illusione too. This was pretty good. This was part of their direct-to-store release that they're releasing as full production. It has the blue band on it. Hold on, the picture's loading. I don't remember what this one's called.
We don't carry Illusione at Vintage, but I am familiar.
This was a box-pressed Maduro. And it was pretty good. I mean, I would say it's like a fiver. I forget what it's called. I may have reviewed this on the last show as well, but I smoked a couple of those. They were pretty good.
Is it new? Or is it part of their line?
Yeah, it was a direct-to-store, and now it's regular production. So the regular production is the new part that they announced as part of IPCPR. So, and I smoked a ton of other stuff while I was on vacation, but on Hacker Summer Camp vacation, and I don't remember what I smoked. I smoked some good. I smoked an H. Upman Churchill.
Nice.
That was really good. Cuban. That was good. Hadn't smoked a Cuban cigar in a while.
Yeah.
That was a good. It's different. It's nice to go back to the Cuban because it all comes from the same country. It has that Cuban profile that is unmistakable, right? So it's nice to go back to that.
Yeah.
My friend is from the UK, and he was like, yeah.
Oh.
So he had.
And he has the good ones then, if he's from the
yes.
UK.
Yeah, he has the real ones, right? So that's pretty cool.
Well, I've been smoking Undercrown regular. I'll smoke any size, and I love it. It's a medium to full. It's delicious. I sell it to everyone. But I'm on a kick with it right now. So, I literally have probably smoked it for the past 3 weeks every day at 11:15. Every day. My first cigar every day. It's delicious.
It's a good cigar for the price point.
It
I
is.
think. It's solid.
Great.
Yeah.
It's, you have the stock cut Connecticut Valley in there, and it's just nice. It's a nice cigar.
Yeah.
I like it.
For that style, I think I actually think the Umbagog from Steve Saka is pretty similar.
Do you think so?
In terms of price point and in the same kind of class where 11:15 in the morning I want to smoke something or I'm outside grilling or whatever. Umbagog is really my go-to.
I like it. I do like it. I just found it to be a little bit bitter to start, not as smooth as the Undercrown. The Undercrown for me is smoother.
I do smoke a lot of Liga Privada though. Actually.
I do too.
I've been going back and smoking a lot of that Liga Privada
I have
stuff.
T52s, or I had 9s, but I smoked those over the weekend. But they're a couple years old. And I found that Ligas do not age well over 5 years. But
I agree.
Yeah. And but if you leave them, I age everything in cedar. I'm a huge cedar person. But these are only 2 years old in my cedar and phenomenal. And the T52 is not, I love the 9, but the T52 has a stock cut, so it's a little bit more bitter. But aged in that cedar for 2 years, boom, that's the way to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Super nice.
I smoked a Ratzilla.
Oh, yeah.
The gigantic.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah.
I like because they just let off so much smoke too.
I
if I'm in the mood for something that has a lot of smoke.
You see it in a lounge, I know who's smoking Liga. Yeah, right. It doesn't matter. You just know.
And I like that in a cigar.
Yeah. I just for me, everything is all, and I'm going to go into construction, but everything from construction to the smoke to the taste obviously is more important, but everything has to go accordingly.
What else you got on your list, Joe Hollywood?
Viaje Birthday Blend, 2016.
The birthday blend.
Yes.
Viaje. I like the pineapples.
I haven't been. Joe Hollywood's been our resident Viaje expert because I haven't been.
And I'm very.
I was into them back in the day. Really?
Yeah. So this is the first Viaje in a while that I was. It's just. I don't know if it's. I just don't think it's ready yet. So I did buy another one, and I'm going to let it rest. I'm going to take your advice. But
a lot of Viaje is never ready when it's on your shelf.
But some of
them
it's
are.
good.
Great. The Roma candle, that's great. Yep. That was fine.
The Farmer Bill hatchet, love that.
See, Farmer Bill was good, but the bees.
Yeah, I wasn't a. Yeah.
No, you got to let those sit for at least 6 months.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Bees? Which one was that?
It has.
It's so it's like a perfecto, but it's not short. It's long and thin, and it has the red
cellophane foil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's half, so it's halved. It looks like a bumblebee.
Oh, yeah. He came out with those a few years ago. I thought those were just okay when they came out.
Yeah, well, let them sit for a while, and then they get better.
Interesting. I'll have to go. I probably have some of those sitting in my humidor.
I have some. I'll bring some the next time for you.
Yeah.
You can have them all. I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding. No, they are good.
I love them so much. You can have them all.
Like I said, I age everything in cedar. So if you add a little cedar to something that's kind of flat, it's it's nice. Not flat. I mean, it's always good.
Interesting. So you put what, like the cedar sleeves?
No. So I have a friend that has like cedar trees and he cuts them down.
Really?
Yeah, and he gives me hunks of them. And then I have cedar shavings from like somebody's humidor that they close, whatever. You take it, you shave it, and then I put everything in it. So I have like garbage bags full of like shaved cedar.
Interesting.
Yep. And I also have like hunks of cedar that I put in my coolers.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's not like some of the, like in my smaller humidors is really where I infuse, like say it's like not a phenomenal cigar, they need to go in there because then the cedar will enhance any flavor for me, my palate.
At least it gives you the cedar flavor.
Yes, which is, that's why you put them in there.
This cigar really has no other flavor, so I'll just put it with cedar, and then when I smoke it, at least,
and like I try to do it with like all blends. Like for me, I love anejos. Anejos are probably one of my favorite. I love them, and they age really well with cedar too, and they're fine on their own. But a little extra cedar in there is wonderful. Same with Padrones. Padrones phenomenal.
Padrones usually come in a very heavy. I find the packaging on the Padrones come in a very heavy cedar already.
They used to. They don't use real cedar anymore. But yes,
really, I
of
didn't
course
know that.
not.
Interesting.
No, it's too expensive.
Wow.
Smell like if you get like a 5-pack from like 10 years ago when it had like the block and it had like the 64, the whatever.
Yeah. That's the ones I'm talking
so
about.
that's real cedar. That block in there is real cedar. You can smell it. But you get
like I mean, you really get that.
You totally get that. I love it. I have like tons of those blocks in my coolers.
Nice.
But now the boxes smell it. It's not the same. If you even the ones that have been sitting out of a box in my coolers for years. You take a new, it's different.
It's different.
Totally less cedar, yeah. And I don't know, I could be lying, but I don't know if it's, I don't think it is. Mm-hmm.
The VIA birthday blend.
Sorry. Are you here? Sorry.
Joe H, welcome to the show.
Hey, yeah.
The VIA birthday blend.
I'm sorry.
For the listeners who are patiently awaiting.
Sorry.
I had the Bellicoso 6x52. Mexican San Andreas Maduro wrapper, binder filler was from Nicaragua. Let me tell you, obviously, like I said, it was the first VIA besides the bees that I was just like, and I usually have a lot of good things to say about that. But one of the things I am going to do, I did buy 2, and I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, so.
Want some cedar?
Doesn't that alter? Like
it doesn't alter, it changes. Well, I mean, no, that's the same thing. So,
I would say,
so it adds.
that's a great episode title, by the way.
It doesn't
alter, it changes.
Yes.
I like it.
It adds. It does, yeah. It'll definitely take, But if you don't like it to begin with, then why wouldn't you want to alter it or change it?
Yeah, see, I'm a different. If I don't like it to begin with, I'm a...
No, you can't, because you change. Your palate changes, your saliva, whatever you ate that day, your pheromones, all that crap goes into it.
Yeah.
My pheromones change all the time.
Mine too. Oh, they just changed. No, I'm just kidding. All right, this Bombay is really kicking in.
It's a good time.
It's a good time.
I'm in.
So...
I don't know what I would rate.
So what were we talking about? VIA birthday blend?
I don't know what I would rate it. I'm kind of.
Why does he call it the birthday blend?
Well,
you know what? Never mind.
No, well.
Happy birthday.
Do you really want to know?
I think for our listeners, we should share that information if you happen to have it.
It's to represent Mr. Farkas's birthday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, very nice.
That's all.
Happy birthday.
The Halloween blend comes out around.
Halloween?
Christmas?
Halloween. The stuffed turkey.
Memorial Day?
The stuffed turkey.
Labor Day, I got it.
The stuffed turkey comes out around
Easter?
I was so going to say that. Because the ham comes out on Labor Day.
So,
or no, 4th of July.
National
I'm going to have
Bacon
another
Day.
one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have another one, and I'm going to report back, but I'm going to let it sit. I'm not going to put it into cedar. I'm just going to let it naturally do its thing, and there you go. Have you ever had the antidote I gave you? The zombie antidote?
I think I did, yes.
Yeah.
I think I reviewed it on the show. I like Andre's
I used to
stuff.
when that came out, I was on it for like 2 weeks.
I didn't like it.
And then I was like,
First one, I was
why?
like, what the? But the skull and crossbones, little guy.
Oh yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
that's like
Yep.
a little. That's
Yeah.
a nice. That's a nice.
Yeah, for sure. You know,
But no, I didn't like the
and
antidote.
I just think that, you know, with them between the whole zombie thing, they just crank out like they're like, hey, let's pick a day and let's celebrate and let's just create a blend
Yeah,
for
but
it.
I like what
you know?
Andre's doing. And Andre's
No, I
been on
think
the
it's
show in the
phenomenal.
past. I think what he does is different.
Yep.
I think it's fun to try them when they first come out, to age them, to explore all of the different offerings and different naming and sizes and blends that Andre's
course.
putting out. I think it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
No, he does a phenomenal job. I'm not knocking him by any means, ever.
I like his older stuff that's been aging for a while too. It's so
Mm-hmm.
different now. Like, it's so cool to go back and smoke and that's why I think it's nice to buy the newer stuff coming out, because it sits and then, you know, like 3-4 years later, you're like, wow, I got like an antidote or some like special release and see what it's doing. So
Yeah.
I think for the boutique cigar smokers, the connoisseurs, the cigar nerds, even if you're like, well, I don't like that one or I don't like this one, like, just, you know, every once in a while buy some of Andre's stuff, maybe smoke one when it first comes out and then put one away. I think it's fun. I think that's the aspect that
I think so,
Viaje
too.
brings back to smoking, is that it's fun, right?
Yeah.
Like, it should be fun and not so hypercritical all the time about this blend and that blend's not as
Yeah.
good and blah blah blah.
But he's also trying to do what every other manufacturer does, which is please a numerous palate. You know?
So not everyone's gonna like
Not
what
everybody's
he
going to like
comes
it,
out
you
with,
know?
certainly.
Yeah. And I think he has a great variety.
Yes, certainly does. I saw some special cigar that I didn't buy because it was like $140. It was in Monte Cristo's. I just thought I'd mention it because now I really want to seek it out. I don't know what it was. Like I said, I hadn't seen it before. I snapped a picture of it. Hold on, let's see if you can identify it. It was like, I want to say $150 or something like that. My internet connection's really slow. I should probably talk to someone who knows about that stuff. Oh, wait, that's me.
I was going to say.
It was $400. That's why I didn't buy it. It was $400.
Is that the gold one?
The gold one? Yeah.
I did.
What is
I
that?
read about that. So like they actually that cigar. No, I don't. The cigar is actually made out of gold flake.
We have
Yes.
talked about that on the show before. Okay.
Yes. So it's gold flake. I don't know whether it's binder filler. I don't know if it's the whole thing or if it's just the wrapper.
There's gold. Yeah, there's
But
gold.
it's gold, actual gold
Gold.
flake that they use that you can smoke. And actually, it's really good. I think it's in like
I don't know if I'd want to
India
smoke gold though.
or-
Like that's concerning
I
to
don't know.
me.
I think it comes from India. Some.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would explain why it was $400. Well, that's Las Vegas price, $400.
Yeah.
It's probably $325.
It's probably $1.25 if you go over there. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
It was whatever it was way too expensive for me to buy even one for the show. I'm like, I'm not spending that on a single cigar.
No.
Like, no way.
But I don't even know, like, you know, like gold flake, like Goldschlager has gold flake in it, and it's not that expensive. So
It makes you wonder as a cigar smoker sometimes, like, what are the effects of drinking something versus smoking something?
Yeah.
Like, what are the?
I don't. Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, the metallic, or I don't know.
I don't know.
Does it change your alkaline levels?
I think I do remember Will or someone else on the show talking about how they were making one with gold flakes in it. So
Somebody said that there was like $1,000 or $10,000 cigar, and I googled it and I found it was like gold. It was the whole entire thing was made of gold, though. I don't know if that $400 one is all
Gotcha.
entirely gold, but I'm pretty sure that it was like Dubai.
it's like a real thing. Now, there was an April Fool's joke that Gurkha was going to come out with like a $5,000 cigar or something like that.
They probably could, though.
They could, but that was an April Fool's joke, which is when are they coming out with an April Fool's cigar, or is that just an April Fool's joke? From
Is that when
Viaje?
you serve the turkey?
When you dress up and get candy?
Yeah. Trick or treat.
Sorry.
He hates us right now.
Did you have another? You did smoke another cigar.
Yeah, Avo XO
Yums.
that I found in my golf bag.
Really?
Totally. I was
Like in a travel
Just
case or just
chilling.
like chilling?
no, you would be very disappointed, right?
It was like in that pocket
It was-
that you
it was-
keep all your crap in, and it's
it was
there.
like I was like, oh, how did this get here? You know what I mean? I don't know if someone had given
This
it to
time
me.
of year, though, like this summer in New England, there have been stretches where the ambient temperature and humidity in the room is pretty damn close to what it is in my humidors. Like,
Sure.
Agreed, yeah.
like it's.
Yeah.
I think in my bedroom, I had one of the little hygrometers that was just sitting out, and it was like 71 degrees and 60% humidity. I'm like, that's like close enough. You could leave a cigar out, and really, it would probably be fine for quite
like
some
Florida.
time.
I'm shocked that it didn't get crushed.
True.
Because it was in
cellophane?
Cellophane
helps, yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't get crushed at all.
Well, where was it? So your golf bag, right?
Golf bag here,
Yep.
and then
sticks go in, or golf clubs.
In there, but then on the side,
Clubs.
on the side there was
The
a pack,
pocket.
and then all the way at the bottom, I have my cigar clip that you clip to the golf cart. Never use it.
Yeah, 'cause you'll lose it.
Because it just...
You'll forget about it.
No, because if someone yells 4 and you flip up... if someone yells 4 and you flip up the screen, right, it'll snap, it'll... It's like a pick, so it'll like wedge out, and then bing, then the cigar goes off, and then you're chasing your cigar. The golf ball hits your thing. It's carnage,
Golf's
right?
a dangerous sport.
So underneath there, and I was digging. I was looking for the butane because I have like a little. It's a little butane thing because I ran out of butane on the course.
Yeah.
And I'm digging through the bag, and I was like, huh. So let me just put that in the cart, and I was like, all right. And then as I'm going and waiting for the other people to golf, and I'm like, this thing's like, it's soft. Like I expected it to be like totally trashed.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna
But you were
smoke
going to
it.
smoke it anyway, even if it was trash.
Oh yeah.
You were going to try it regardless.
Good. Yes, I
It was
just wanted to
getting
make sure.
So I was like, well, this would be perfect, right? So I cut
What
it.
size? Was it a Robusto?
It was the 5x50, which is the
Robusto,
Robusto.
Yep. Dominican binder and filler, Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. And let me just tell you, like,
I love that cigar. I sell
was
that
awesome.
to everybody.
It's
I
like
love
classic.
Avo.
It's like it's just.
I missed the Presto size. That was a little petite
yeah,
Corona.
you gave me one the last time
Yeah.
I was here, the little one. I actually have one for you, and I should have brought it. I found one in my stash that's
Yeah.
ancient cedar.
Nice. Nice.
Yes, but I have one
I missed
for
that
you.
size. I wish they didn't discontinue that size. But the Robustos are good. I smoke the
No, it's
Robustos
great.
now instead.
It's a great stick. I
Yeah.
love it. I love Avo.
I was surprised that it lasted that long. Like
Yeah,
it
but
It smoked okay?
It was fine. It was still like it's like.
And it's in Ecuador, so it usually would be like bad. Like
Yeah,
it would
I
go-
did notice though towards the end it was starting to flake. Obviously,
you
Ecuadorian
didn't
Connecticut.
treat
I
it
mean,
right.
I mean, it was not treated. And the first
were
thing I thought about, I was
misbehaving.
golfing yesterday. We golfed at Richmond Country Club, and the first thing I thought was Paul would not be a fan if he saw this cigar because I have no clue how long it's been there. After the guy with the tank.
Well,
Would
it's
protect your cigars and all
Yeah.
this. I was like, he would be
He
like,
would
"Are you
kick
kidding
your
me?"
butt.
I mean, cigars are weird. Like, if you store them in any extreme heat or humidity or low temperature and low humidity, you obviously want to be in between. But if there are variances, even without the extremes, like if there are variances, that's what kills the cigar because the tobacco is constantly expanding
Yeah, it's
and
hygroscopic.
contract. So even if it doesn't contract bugs or mold, those changes, even if it goes from like 50% humidity to 80% humidity, which is not, I mean, 80% might do mold or bugs, but those temperature and humidity changes are really my point is what is going to kill a cigar because of that expanding and contracting all the time. Also, I really think, and I think largely people agree, if it gets too dry, the oils dry up, and that impacts the flavor. So if people have given me cigars, like in computer security conferences, the one I just went to, I mentioned, like people give me cigars and they haven't been stored properly. If they're completely dried out, I can re-humidify them and keep them at a constant temperature and humidity for a month and slowly introduce humidity back into the cigar. If you do it too quickly, it explodes, right? But if you do it slow, they'll actually rehydrate and they'll be like seemingly fine. But when you smoke them, they taste flat. Mm-hmm. I think there was a Cigar Aficionado article that talked about this, that the point at which humidity drops so much for so long that the oils in the tobacco leaves dry out, that's where you're losing your flavor. Mm-hmm. So,
But it was awesome. Construction still amazing. Great classic smoke.
Yep.
It's got to be box worthy. I mean, it's just
I agree.
it's just a great smoke. And like I said, I was surprised that it still tasted good. And Avo, I don't know what
didn't
it
have
is.
beetle. I mean, sometimes cigars that are in that kind of environment, if it's a higher temperature and humidity, the beetles will
They
come out.
come.
You can fit
A
everything.
lot
in
of
a golf
Cubans
bag.
actually, because Cuban cigars are notorious for that.
And
If you
likely
For the
because they're
Beatles?
not because they're not free. So we asked
they're not.
Louise
Yep.
from the Cala Cigars, right? I asked him. I said, when you freeze it, does it kill both the larvae and the bugs? And he said, no, it kills both.
it does? I
kills
thought it
both.
only killed the bug.
I thought so too. He's like, no, it kills both, and that's why Jose Cala was like, we've the special freezer that they have
Yep.
that brings down the temperature without introducing any moisture. Like freezer burn, like you have in your freezer at home. It's like not like your freezer at home. It's a special environment that brings the temperature down low enough to kill the larvae and the beetles without introducing moisture. I didn't know that till he described it to me as well. So I think in Cuba, they probably don't. Hearing what I've heard about the process for making cigars and people kind of saying they don't follow it like they do in Nicaragua or Dominican and go through the extra processing that costs extra money in Cuba. And also the workers not paying as much attention because they work for the government. All that stuff being taken into consideration doesn't surprise me that beetles are something that'll spawn. And I had one, it was from a Dominican cigar manufacturer, and it happened to have beetles. Now, that isn't necessarily their fault, right? Like Jose is telling us we go through this process, but if I take a cigar and I put it next to another cigar that does have beetles or I guess larvae wouldn't necessarily jump from, but beetles will travel from cigar to cigar. They could conceivably have come from someone else's cigar inside of your humidor if it's not properly maintained. So I have used my home freezer to do that in emergency situations. If you put them in Ziploc bags, kind of squeeze the air out of the bag first and then zip it, stick it in there for 24 hours. And then you have to do it slowly, right? So what I'll do is I'll take it from my humidor, go refrigerator for 24 hours, freezer for 24 hours, refrigerator for 24 hours, then back in the humidor. All in the Ziploc bag. That can be effective.
I leave mine out before I put them in my humidor first.
I've had to do that.
Yeah.
Recently,
Just saying.
I had
Me, I'd be like Beatles. So
You'd be like that.
I actually had some, like about a half a dozen cigars that had a little bit of mold that started to grow on them. Using Louise's suggestion, I used a little bit of distilled water. He recommended red wine, which was interesting. Just like damp cloth with red wine and wipe the cigar off. He said to dab the ends too, because I used to think if it was on the ends, that 100% of the time it was inside the cigar and the cigar was ruined. He said it could be that it was just on the outside on the foot. He's like, just dab the foot.
Oh, wow.
I did that with my 6 cigars. They're now resting back in my humidor after being out. I left them out to dry out.
Did you try them? Do you put the red wine on it?
I haven't tried it with I didn't have any red wine. My wife doesn't drink red wine at home.
come to my house. We have.
Come to my house. I don't even drink wine, but I have it.
I have. We have.
Usually I do have a bottle.
You always have to have a bottle.
We have
I had no red wine at home.
A living room red wine rack.
That's just for daily use.
No, it's like, wine is. I love wine and craft beer as much as I love cigars.
Yeah.
So it's. I do a lot of. We go to vineyards.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
But I did. I wiped them with distilled water, let them dry out, and then put them back in my humidor. So we'll see.
Let me know.
I find in the larger cabinets I have to do more rotation than I had been doing. Yeah, that was my fault for not paying close enough attention. You can't really just leave. And I think the trays that I have stacked definitely trap moisture, and when you stack the trays, so I got to find a better solution for my humidors for that. Or you just rotate the trays, but that's.
But you got to rotate the cigars on the trays because then they'll burn uneven when you take them off.
Because I think that even
if it sets like this all the time, it's just like anything. It's just going to be flat on this side, and then you're going to have all the nice. So you got to always.
I think it traps moisture regardless, right? Inside of a tray, whether they're stacked, and then inside the tray themselves. So I think rotating everything is probably
the best.
The best.
Is there rhyme to reason to your humidor, or no?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
No. I have 2 really big cabinets at home, and no.
Okay. No, because I'm as organized in.
I do keep my Opus in bags in the bottom of the humidor with beads, and the bags are all open, and the bags are for the like 85% labeled with the year and month that I bought them. So
and labeled Paul's. Ever since I started co-hosting with Paul's private stash with the OpusX. I noticed you put that on the OpusX.
That's good.
Does it say "do not touch"? It just he's just.
That means don't touch.
No, it doesn't. It said if you didn't.
Hopefully, if all works out, I'll explain after the show. We might have some new cigar storage here, some additional storage.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
That was last week when I covered with Joe D, and I'm like, he has these Opuses. He's like, but they have Paul's private stash. I go, yeah, but it doesn't say, we can't. I'm like, we can. And he talked me out of it, just so you know. So.
That's good.
That is very good.
They were the blue label
Yeah,
too.
that's like the 20th anniversary.
I know. I was like, yeah, we're gonna smoke 2 of these.
Oh, man.
We smoked those on the show.
Yeah, I know they were.
And you wanted to
amazing.
smoke 'em again.
I wanted to smoke 'em
Yeah.
again. You know, like I remember one time I covered from. I did a wine pairing segment, and I said, Paul, I'm sorry, but the only thing that would pair with this
Opus
Riesling
20th anniversary.
is no, it was the pork tenderloin.
Oh,
pork tenderloin.
oh, the chops. I haven't
Pork
seen those in a while.
tenderloin with a Riesling, epic.
Oh, I can see that
Very
actually
nice.
pairing well. Now that you say
Yeah.
that,
completely
Super nice.
like epic. I was sitting there doing that. I forgot what episode it was. Stogie Geeks 200 something. I was sitting there and I
Where's
was like,
Rain Man when you need
right,
him?
right. I was like, oh, this is like, wow, the force is strong in this. Pair it, totally amazing.
Almost like his shirt,
yeah.
because the force is strong there.
Yeah.
There you go. I like it.
Because I am your father.
I did in fact get dressed in the dark today.
I love it. I think it's great. I wanted everybody to see it because I think it's wonderful. Sorry.
Those are little Darth Vaders. Anyway, I'm a nerd. So, thank you all for watching this episode of Stogie Geeks. We'll see everyone next time. Thank you for listening. And